When it comes to American culture, there are plenty of things Nicaraguans admire.
Yankees, Boston.
Yankee.
Boston.
No Mets fans? Baseball is only one of the passions we share with this Central American country of nearly 6 million, less than the population of New York City, in an area about the size of New York State. Nicaraguans also appreciate our culture.
William Faulkner and Toni Morrison.
Writers, singers, musicians, the American people, and some of the government.
Sergio Ramirez is a former vice president of Nicaragua, a leading intellectual. We ran into him at a polling place in Managua during recent local elections. Back in the 1980s, Ramirez served with Sandinista President Daniel Ortega, a longtime foe of the United States government. But like many other liberals here, Ramirez has turned against his former colleague, accusing Ortega of fraud and dangerous authoritarianism. Still, Ramirez agrees with Ortega on at least one issue.
You know, in this country, very few people like Bush.
What was wrong with the Bush government?
This is a long list of wrongdoings. The problem is that anything that happens in the United States affects the rest of the world, affects this country, affects Latin America. And I think that Bush never had a policy toward Latin America as a whole region.
Nicaragua is now at peace, but many here remain critical of the U.S. and its years of intervention. Last October, after the mortgage meltdown, President Ortega said, "God is punishing the United States." No one we encountered was that vindictive, but the list of things Nicaraguans don't like about our government begins with the Iraq War. But you don't think we should have been there?
Of course not.
Ernesto Robleto, an advertising and public relations executive, resents what he calls Americans' self-importance.
They think that the United States is the center and the only world, but the rest of the world is very little known to most of Americans.
And what he and many other Nicaraguans see as a history of unwanted American influence.
Invading us, they had military presence in Nicaragua for several times.
And you know, if you are Latin America, you see the United States like a bully that has really taken away many of your dreams.
Celebrated Nicaraguan author and poet Gioconda Belli, who lives part-time in the United States, was especially angry when the U.S. government, under Ronald Reagan, funded counter-revolutionaries called contras, who fought against the Sandinistas. She went to Washington, D.C. in 1990.
I felt so much hostility for the United States that it was very hard for me. I felt, you know, anybody around here could have been the guy signing for the Contra money or, you know, or organizing something against my country. And it was very rough.
Today, that hostility has mellowed considerably, as we discovered at another polling place in the barrio at a town called Masaya, once a Sandinista stronghold. The election of Barack Obama brought new hope.
Sí, porque va a mejorar los Estados Unidos con él allí.
The United States is going to be better with him there because he looks after poor people.
Ya no va a haber guerra.
And there will not be war. No war with Iraq or with our sister countries. We will live in peace.
They won't make us get out of the U.S. or put us in jail as immigrants.
We think that with the new president, we might have more help for Nicaragua.
Everyone that we talked to also seemed very excited about the notion of President-elect Obama. In fact, one American who's living here now said that right after our election, he took a walk down the street and a group of Nicaraguans stood up and cheered.
People really believe that this new president in the U.S. can create a better relationship with the Latin American people.
Javier Chamorro runs the agency that promotes foreign investment in Nicaragua, which has been growing at one of the fastest rates in the region.
By more dialogue, by more opportunities to work together instead of feel that you're working for. There's a feeling that during the past administration, it was more of imposing will.
What do you think of Mr. Obama being elected president?
Lo vemos bien.
It's good.
¿Por qué?
For so many reasons.
Tantas razones.
Keep in mind, this is one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere, with unemployment rampant. Little wonder these ball players, day workers who pick up occasional gigs clearing fields, still see the United States as the promised land.
Most of us have families in the United States, and we get help from them.
How many of you would like to immigrate to the United States?
All of us, the majority.
All Nicaraguans are good workers, and when we get there, we'll work hard.
¿Y por qué United States?
It's the most developed country in the world, and we can work there and get out of poverty.
For World Focus, I'm Lynn Sherr in Masaya, Nicaragua.